Hello, everyone. I'm Mark, and Rob's working. Welcome to the Mark and Rob Sports Showdown. We're live tonight till 8 o'clock, and we're going to do the Olympics on from 2 to 5 for 14 straight days. It'll be Saturday through Saturday because there's opening ceremonies Friday night, and then there's closing ceremony on Sunday. So I'll do it 2 to 5. And the reason I'm doing it 2 to 5, we'll still do live shows on Monday. The reason I'm doing it is because they're going to do like a live primetime show from 2 to 5 because that's what it is in primetime in Paris. And that's when all the marquee events are going to be live. And that's going to be Mike Tirico is actually going to host that. And then they're going to do like simulated live on like 7 at midnight or whatever it is, 7 to 11:30, I guess, 11:35. They're going to do live. And then they're going to do some more stuff after 12:30 and stuff like that at 1 o'clock. I'll cover every time 2 to 5 unless the Caitlin Clark's still not on the Olympic team. I will not cover that Olympic team if she's not on it, and I don't think any Caitlin Clark fan is going to either. So I'm going to stay steady with that. They may change their mind. Someone may get injured. It's got to be a guard, it looks like. So anyways, you can we have Super Chat today. We instigated that. Live in is call-in show is 215-605-4223. And so Rob will be here next week, hopefully. Don't forget you can hang on. Channel. A lot of action in the NBA today. The Sixers got Paul George. So that was a good move. All right, let me know the topics that you want to think. I am live. Top Gun is here. Top Gun, you make good comments. Tell me a topic that you want to talk about. I am live. Then okay, I just want to make sure. Last week we got a fair amount. We got like up to 59 listeners last week. The week before we only had 9, so that was a big jump. By the way, I saw a comment in the live one that one of our regular listeners, Bobby, somebody, and some other guy tried to check in at a time that I wasn't live. I didn't miss any shows. They said you're old or something. I didn't miss any shows. It's every Monday Eastern time, 7 to 8 against major holidays, and we're going to do that. And I might expand it to 6 to 8 come football season because there's going to have college football and NFL to talk about for the whole weekend. So you're going to need 2 hours for that. So we'll do that when football season comes around. So after the Olympics. I'll talk about anything you want. We had a game last night with Caitlin Clark, almost got a triple-double. Of course, with the coach decided to keep her, prevent her from getting the triple-double. So I don't know what her problem is. So she's not very good at doing things, I guess. She decided to keep her out because she was sick. Now, she played almost the entire game, so she suddenly didn't have energy for the next 30 seconds. When none of the guards played good defense that were in. So Mitchell, Wheeler, Wallace, none of them are any better than Clark in defense. The only one's better than Clark is Hall and Taylor. They got rid of Taylor. I'm just really happy we won. That means we keep sides longer. I hope, I don't know. They got a tough schedule. Let me look at the schedule again. They got, don't they have another 2 away games, right, against good teams? I forgot who they were playing. Let me look that up on ESPN. If I go ESPN, Major League, see what they, let's see what they got coming up. WNBA. Let's see what they got. They're in 8th place now. They are a half a game up of Chicago and only a half a game out of Atlanta. I think they're going to overtake. I think they're going to end up in 7th place. Mercury just got Griner back. They'll probably end up with a better record than Indiana Fever. Let's see what the Indiana Fever's schedule is coming up. The next game, I don't even know when the next game is. 7-2. I guess that's tomorrow, right? Today's July 1st. So tomorrow on ESPN against the Aces and then against the Liberties. And then at the Aces and home against the Liberty. So then with the Mystics and then the Mercury again. All right. So Aces and the Liberty. So that's okay. We'll take that. Mystics is in last place. Let's see. Aces are 10-6, and Liberty is 16-3. Those are not going to be easy games, right? We're not expecting to win those. I guess we're not expected to win those. We'll see what happens. She wanted to win. Then she said she did not know she was getting triple-double, and now she is saying because had a headache. Yeah, I don't know. I don't believe anything that woman says. I do not believe she's an honest person. And I do not believe she knows what she's doing. I think she has a big ego and she's very insecure. And it's really a shame. Rob is working. So she'll be back here next Monday. Sometimes they have a short staff right now where he works. So he couldn't get off. Sometimes he could switch or get off. He'll be here next Monday. He's told me he thinks he could come in. So you're stuck with just me. So I'm doing it straight from the YouTube studio. When I do two people, you have to do through StreamYard, which is how we record in two different locations. You can't do that through YouTube. So StreamYard you do is a special software service. And that's how we record our shows. And I've been doing the live shows from StreamYard, but I don't really need it when there's only one person because I don't need to get the split screen action and attach somebody. So are you guys NBA fans? Because I'm in Philadelphia and the Sixers signed Paul George. And, they needed some help. Okay, but I still want to talk about Caitlin Clark. I will. We can do NBA signings later. I know we got a Caitlin Clark fan. It is very strange to me. I was just talking to Rob one time. We were doing a video, and this is like a month ago or 6 weeks ago. And this is before anybody else said it, but I'm not saying nobody else had the thought. And I was just talking to him, and I suddenly realized that she's just trying to put her stamp on the team. So if they're successful, she gets credit for it. And I'm convinced of that. And she knows if she just hands the keys over to Caitlin Clark, like Lisa Bluder did, and just says, "Hey, run the show, run the team." And if they're real successful, everybody will just say, "Hey, Caitlin Clark's amazing. That's why they're winning," and she won't get any credit. I'm convinced that's what she's thinking in her back of her head, which is stupid because, as I explained before, Phil Jackson got a lot of credit. Everyone said, "Yeah, look at how much talent he has," but they still said, "Yeah, but he's a great coach." And he is considered the greatest coach of all time, even though he had tons of talent. He had Scottie Pippen and Jordan, and as you probably know, Shaq and Kobe when Lakers won all the titles. So I don't know. She seems incompetent. Some people think she's just trying to hold Caitlin down. I think the main reason, I think it's almost, I can't say it's 100%, but it's because she's incompetent. But part of it, she's trying to have everything her way and limit the Caitlin Clark effect. But you know what? She finally realized, I got to give the ball to Caitlin, like the whole game. Wheeler barely touched the ball last game in terms of bringing it down the court and in control when they in a half-court offense. The game before, she had it more often, and as soon as they did that, that's when they blew their lead. She gets it off too often. So, anyways, hey, we're up to 9 subscribers. All right, and nine people. You can make a contribution through this super chat down here if you want. Going to pay for our new studio. No, not BNA fan no more. I was season ticket holder for Sacramento Kings. NBA screwed the year against Lakers. I dropped my tickets and haven't looked back. So now you're a big WNBA fan, or are you just big Caitlin Clark fan? Because I don't think I'm a WNBA fan. I admit I am an Indiana Fever fan right now. And I actually was upset when they lost the other night, and I was happy that they won. So I'm not just a Caitlin Clark fan anymore. I wasn't a Chicago Bulls fan when I started going crazy over watching Michael Jordan. So I figured, well, you know what? I don't care. If I'm going to root for Michael Jordan, I got to root for his team. So I became a Bulls fan. And I don't root for him anymore. I moved to Philadelphia in 94. So it's very frustrating rooting for them because, they went for 6 years, they decided to tank and say, trust the process. And the process didn't work. And maybe if Joel Embiid could last the year and it kept Jimmy Butler, they would have won a championship. But no, they had Jimmy Butler for half season and they let him go and kept Tobias Harris, And Jimmy Butler was obviously the better player, and that was a mistake. So now they got Paul George and Tobias Harris, and they play the exact same position. They're the exact same size. They're both like 6'80", 220. So I don't know what they're going to do there. They're going to have but of course, their power forward, Batum, he's a little older, so they're going to have the three forward rotation. Does anyone know at what time in the game did Coach Side scream at? No, did she? She screamed at her last night. I didn't know that. She screamed at her last night. She's always screaming. That's why her voice is so hoarse. Tower Store says hi. Tower and Star. Hi, Tower and Star. Anyways, Bucky Bordeaux. Bucky says yes. She screamed at her. I didn't see that. I don't know. All I know is Diana Taurasi had a nice first half and a poor second half. She missed 2 clutch shots down the stretch. And, she might have hit them when she was 30 years old, but she's 42. And you get tired later in the game when you're older. But she was very gracious after the game and even before the game. And even Brittany Griner was gracious before the game. Whispered like sweet nothings into Caitlin Clark's ear. Caitlin Clark was laughing. So that was nice of them to do that before the game. I don't see the other players, other than like Sabrina Ionescu, really giving her a warm welcome before the game. Maybe I haven't been paying that close attention, but most of them are just ready to tear their head off because they're so jealous of her. They just want to say, okay, we're shutting you down. That's the only goal they have. I noticed Gino's been quiet lately. Gino did say something nice about Clark. Where they're not, they should be nicer to her. But he's the one that said, she wasn't even ready for the league. Like she didn't have the skill set to handle the physicality, and that her fans were disrespectful to the WNBA players. That's so silly. Why would people listen to super Clark fans or anything? Clark didn't say anything. Clark didn't come in and say, I'm going to be the greatest player of all time and I'm going to take over the league. So anyways, did you notice the Mercury was actually pretty nice to CC during the game at times, I think? Yeah, I didn't see any hard hits on her. They just covered her tight. Why couldn't they do that from game one? Just cover her tight, double team her. Yeah, she's a deadly point guard. We get it. But there was too many hard hits. There was too much physicality. People like hooking on her all the time and pushing her and grabbing her. I realized, it wasn't all the time, but it was too much. And then the refs never protected her. Mark, love listening to your point of view. Thank you, Glenn. I started this channel because I thought I had a unique point of view, and my friends told me I did. And these are smart people too. They aren't idiots. And I learned to be objective from my father. I'm not saying I always am, but that's my biggest objection to sports fan is they're not very objective. Even Rob's not here. He'll tell you he predicted the Knicks to win the NBA title this year. And I said, Rob, come on. They're not going to win it this year. He told me when the playoffs started, he was picking them to win, even though they lost one of their key players. So he said later, he goes, yeah, because I wasn't objective. You're teaching me how to be objective. So, I don't think the Packers are going to win the Super Bowl this year, but I think they're going to be good. If I was Rob, I'd say, oh, the Packers are going to win. They might. I don't know. You never know. Jordan Love looked really good last year. You guys football fans? Top Gun, come on. We're all here for Rob. Thanks a lot. All right. Rob's a good friend of mine. You can compliment her all you want. I love Rob. Rob's a great guy, and he knows basketball. He's a football fan. We'll find out how much he knows about football this fall, right? My favorite sport is football. I actually know more about football than I do basketball. I didn't play either, but I watched him a lot. I played 8th grade basketball. I was like 4'9" at the time. But I played football, neighborhood football. But I wrestled and played ultimate frisbee. Steelers fan? All right. My friend is a big Steelers fan. And so he'll be calling in. You guys can converse. A good friend of mine is Steelers fan. I'm a Packers fan. Rob's a Cleveland Browns fan. My dad was a Cleveland Browns fan. So we'll see what happens. I'll cover the Cowboys. Unfortunately, I'll have to, but they get too much publicity already. But if they're a popular team, I got to cover them somewhat. But I'm going to cover what's ever in the news. It's Steelers since '72. When was their first Super Bowl? Like '74? What was their first Super Bowl? I know they won 4 in 6 years. What was the Steelers' first Super Bowl year? You remember Top Gun? You must. You're a Steelers fan. Packers won 5 in 7 years. 74? Okay, I was right. I knew it was about that. They nearly won. They won. That was a deadly team. I liked their defense, and I liked and Terry Bradshaw called his own plays. He keeps telling everybody that on Fox News. They all called their own plays back then. It is kind of amazing that they don't let them call their own plays ever anymore. And sometimes they audible and stuff. So I think someone like Aaron Rodgers could do a good job of calling his own plays, even though he turned out to be an idiot. He's smart. Not as smart as he thinks he is. I'm a Packers fan. I can tell he's not as smart as he thinks he is. So anyways, let me know what topic you want me to talk about. And if anyone wants to call in and talk, I put the number in there. And if you want to donate to our channel, there's a super chat thing down there with the big S with the rectangle, and it moves your message up to the front too automatically if you do that. Anyway, CC and Abby can't get enough. What CC? Oh, Caitlin Clark can't get enough of Caitlin Clark. Yeah, I don't want to talk about Caitlin Clark for 60 minutes, but I listen. So I was a Caitlin Clark fan since she was a freshman, and I think I told this story in 1 or 2 of the videos, but Top Gun probably knows, but some of the newer people weren't. And some woman came on and said the most exciting freshman and I didn't even watch much college basketball for women, is the most exciting freshman in the country. She didn't say best. It's Caitlin Clark, and she can drop in threes from anywhere. I said, all right, I'm game. I like, Steph Curry dropping in threes from anywhere. And I was like blown away. I couldn't believe she was dropping in threes at the same distance Steph Curry was on a regular basis. And she could pass too. She wasn't as good as passer as she is now. Her junior and senior, she took that to another level. But she was exciting, and she was ultra competitive, which I love. That's what I liked about Michael Jordan. So I watched her summer freshman year and summer sophomore year, and then a little bit more junior year. And then I watched the NCAA tournament in junior year, and she was just on a roll. And she just played great. I was heartbroken when they didn't win the championship both times. I almost felt like I lost. So I see her shortcomings, but I still think I think she's better than even money to be the greatest player of all time. That's how good I think she is. I know that she's at a disadvantage because this league is just so physical that the forwards and centers seem to win the MVP awards, and most of them seem to be the ones that are considered the greatest players of all time. But if Diana Taurasi can be considered the greatest of all time by some people, and she's not even a point guard, certainly Caitlin Clark can. Caitlin Clark's more talented than Diana Taurasi. She was a better college player than Diana Taurasi. Did you guys see my video on that? I put a video out, and I made I thought very convincing arguments and listed a bunch of stats. I don't think anyone from Connecticut's going to agree with me, but I believe that she was at least the last 2 years of her career, she played at a higher level than any woman in history. Now, does that make her the best player of all time? I can make that argument, yes. Although I'm a big Cheryl Miller fan, I can remember watching her play in the Olympics. And I went back and watched her freshman and sophomore year championship games. And I watched her in the Goodwill games when they finally beat Russia. And she was in her prime then. And she was like 1.5 times better than anybody else. But her senior year, she was like 2 for 11 in the championship game, and they lost. She had a really bad game. So, anyways, let's see. What are we going? Well, just yelled at good pass. Coach just yelled at good pass after the pass to Mitchell for the 3-pointer. I don't understand that sentence, Perry. Are you missing a word? Coach just yelled at good pass after pass. Oh, she yelled good pass. I see. Okay. Okay. That's true. So, so she gave her a compliment during the game? That's unbelievable. So she looked pissed but not appreciative. So I don't know what she said. At Iowa, sometimes she didn't treasure the ball. Yeah, I mean, her turnover rate was 4. I think she had 4.6 turnovers. Her assist to turnover ratio was 1.8. You really want it to be, yes, Cheryl Miller was at USC. She was first team All-American and probably runner-up in the Naismith Award. Probably runner-up. Ann Donovan won, and she had really good stats, so she probably deserved it. But Cheryl Miller was considered probably the second best player in the country that year. The next 3 years, she won Player of the Year. So she was a 4-time first-team All-American. And she won 2 championships and made it to the finals 3 times. So she had a great career. And she was, she could do everything well. And she was like a small forward. She was a forward. She could play anything. But she could dribble. She could pass. She could run the court. She could play defense. And she had the smoothest jumper of any woman by a large margin. In fact, she was like 30 years. Go watch her form. She has better form than the women do now. So, anyways, she used to meet Reggie. And she was less than 2 years older. I think if I looked at their birth dates, they were like a year and a half apart or something like that. And that's not a lot, especially when it's a male and a female. Yeah, about a year and a half. You can look it up. I think it's about a year and a half apart. But she was so good. I mean, for her to be able to do that against Reggie Miller when they're not that far apart in age. Yeah, I mean, at some point, obviously, that wasn't going to happen. But for a while, it seemed to happen to a pretty late age from the way they tell the story. I like the story where she scored 105 points and Reggie Miller had his best game ever. And he came back and one of them was away and one was home. So they were talking and Reggie goes, yeah, I had a great game. I scored 40 points. And how'd you do? Oh, our team did pretty well. We scored 105. And we won 170-60. Well, how much did you get? Oh, 105. You mean, you just said they got 107. You mean your team got 105? No, I got 105. And she was like 46 for 50 I think there's stats on this on Wikipedia. She was 46 for 50 on her shooting percentage. And obviously they played a team that didn't have any defense and was weak. She probably did whatever she wanted, but still 105 points in a high school game. She was recruited by 200 schools. And she ended up going to USC because they had the, the twins? Gosh, I'm drawing a blank. The twins, the McGee twins, Pam and Pat McGee or something like that. And they were like 6'3" or 6'4". And she tells the story in an interview where she sits down on the couch. I don't know if they're at her house or not. And they sit down next to her. And she says, and they were going to be juniors and she was going to be a freshman. It's a funny story. I don't know if it's true, but that's why she tells the story. She sits down next to him. The two of them look at her and says, they sit down closer and closer to her and says, you can play against us for the next 2 years and you can play with us. She signed up for USC the next moment. And they had Cynthia Cooper, and they were so good. Cynthia Cooper was like 6th person because her defense wasn't quite there yet. And so she was a 6th person off the bench. And she ended up playing really well in the senior when Cheryl Miller was a senior, and Cheryl Miller had a bad game, and Cynthia Cooper had 27, but they still lost. Less to an undefeated team. Did they announce the top votes? Didn't they announce the vote getting yet? Yeah, did anyone know? They announced that? Okay, I don't know. All right, we're up to 18 people. Hey, last week we had 59. We should get to 59. Okay, we only got 18. All right. Anyway, so the game yesterday, I thought it was interesting. Clark forced a few passes in the first half. And like the one, I think it was to Fig Bentley in the post, and then she did a behind the back to Wheeler. To Mitchell. Mitchell wasn't expecting it. But then she got accredited turnover on one that wasn't a turnover because that was not an offensive foul. The refs were awful. I just can't believe that they're that bad. It was obvious it wasn't. And then, of course, sides didn't challenge it. And then Griner, who was nice before the game started, pushed. I guess it was a shove, a push. It wasn't a punch. It seemed almost like a punch. And that wasn't a basketball play. That should have been a flagrant one. I don't know how they got that one wrong. She figured out she's got to cut down on the turnovers. That's all there is to it. She's taking too many chances. I know that I will explain this again, that she, when she makes those passes, especially ones that are length of the court, they have high reward because a lot of times they result in the defender possibly having an easy layup. It's not an easy layup at the WNBA, but it should be. And that is actually worth more than another pass because they already beat the defenders. So it's kind of worth it to sometimes have a turnover in those plays. The turnovers it's deceptive, the turnover, because the success on that pass has more of a reward, even though it only counts as one assist. So you have to look at that. Kalia Cooper flying into CC, shooting a three. Then CC got called for a foul. Oh, yeah. Yeah. The refs hate Caitlin Clark. They just do. I mean, yeah, it was worse the first 10 games. And the first time she didn't get ripped off by the refs was the Mystics. So whatever game number that was that like game number 10 or whatever? That was the first time she didn't get, the refs didn't call against her, like both ways, like ticky-tack fouls on her and, not calling fouls when she was being fouled and holding grab. But like half the games since then, I think the fouls have gone against her. I don't know why they keep doing this. It's just ridiculous to me. It's just, I don't know. But it's disheartening. Why do the refs say? I have no idea, because I know she's their job security. I never thought about that. If you look at some of the refs, you can notice some of them are black, some are white, and some of the women may be lesbian. I'm not saying they are. I'm just saying you take a look at them. There's a possibility some of them are, and the women are, a high percentage lesbian, high percentage blacks, and I don't care what your sexuality or race is. But they may be sticking up for those players in the league, saying, well, we're not going to let this player take over the league. Maybe that's what's going on. We know it's the rookie thing too. And the stars get the calls, which is a stupid rule, but they do it anyway. They do it in the NBA. And I hate that rule. It's not like you're trying to establish credibility in terms of how honest you are. You're just trying to establish yourself as a player. That should have nothing to do with whether you get the right call or not. Yeah, your Top Gun agrees with me. Yeah, I think it's rather obvious. And there was another thing, too. It's not just that they're protecting their players. They're saying, well, I'm not going to be accused of showing favoritism to this new rookie who gets all the publicity. So it could be like a completely related but separate at the same time, if that makes any sense. And so they err on the other side where they actually go against her with calls. I mean, it started right in the first game with that ticky-tack foul. When she reached in, I think, touched the ball, and then she got out of the way, and they called a foul anyways, right off the bat. First play of the game, she was like, what? That's a foul? I have no idea. By the way, I'll put the number down again if anybody wants to call in and talk. I have a separate cell phone for that, so you can call in. I have put you on speaker. If anybody wants to call in. If not, I'll just respond to the things on the chat. I'm kind of like Boston Stroke. She's got a nice touch. Pick and pop might be a nice option for her. Yeah, she's playing a lot better. She started out the year shooting around 38%, when last year she shot 58%. So I don't know. Now after she got a little hotter, she's shooting closer to 58% again. That's what I heard. She was shooting 58% going to like yesterday's game or something like that, or 2 games ago. 60% of the league is gay. So I'm very curious what percentage it is. I know it's more than 50%. I will say supposedly 33% have come out as being part of the LGBT community. And Candace Wiggins said the league is 98% gay. And everybody knows the Candace Wiggins story. You can find her on YouTube. She says they harassed her, and she actually retired 2 years earlier than she was planning on because she just couldn't stand it anymore. It was just so toxic. She retired. So I'd like to get an interview with her. You think I should get an interview with Candace Wiggins? Maybe I should do that. I haven't done interviews yet. Oh, yeah, by the way, let me know. I want to start doing interviews, especially now that we're going to have this slow season a little bit. After the Olympics and before college football starts, I'll have a couple weeks there when it's going to be slow. And maybe I'll do some interviews. But I don't have any connections, so we got to try to get some connections. But I actually reached out to Lisa Bluter, and I don't know, I had an Instagram, no one answered, and then I emailed her at the university and right before she retired, and she didn't answer. So I might not. The message might never got to her. And Instagram is not a very active Instagram. She probably doesn't even go on Instagram. So, I told them we're a new channel. It's not like we're NBC, so it's harder. Wiggins interview. Okay, all right, tomorrow, let me write a note for myself and see if we can contact Candace Wiggins. She might not do it because she's already said what she wanted to say, but I'll tell her that you guys are dying for her and see what. All right, email Candace Wiggins. And I'm in Philadelphia. I'm wondering if I could maybe get Paul George or Maxey to I'll have to contact the Sixers. usually, the priority is, the bigger YouTubers or the bigger networks. But, my channel's growing. Rob and I, we got up to, 36, almost 17. Yeah, by the way, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. We're trying to get up to 1,700 by tomorrow. And we got our 1,000, which allowed us to get monetized. All right. Email Candace Wiggins. I also sent a message to, what's her name? Christine Brennan. And I was surprised she didn't respond. She could have just said, hey, my schedule's full. She just ignored my email. She says, email here or leave a message here, or in like for interviews, for this, for that. And she ignored me. I was kind of disappointed. And she's like the same age as Rob and I. I think she's in between Rob and I in age. Rob and I are like 15 months apart. So people get busy. You're starting. What does that mean? I think you interview. I thought of Celeste Taylor too. I'm not sure she's going to want to interview because she's kind of like, she probably doesn't want to say too much because she's trying to get another job. So she might not. Candace Wiggins is already out of the league. She doesn't care what she says anymore. But I thought of Celeste Taylor too. I know I can't get an interview with Candace Clark yet, but if I become a big YouTube channel, I will be able to. But I got to be a big one. Yeah. Anyone else? Celeste Taylor and Candace Wiggins. I would really like to hear from Candace Wiggins. I'd like to get one with Cheryl Miller. I'll doubt I get one, but she gives a good interview. I saw one with Dan Patrick, and then I saw she was on another show. I forget who it was. I think it was Darius Miles or Mills, the WNBA, and some other WNBA player. And they were really good interviews. She's very entertaining. Yeah, Taylor's agent would not let her talk to somebody about. I don't think so either. That's why I haven't tried to contact her. Candace Wiggins, I think I may be able to get. I don't think a current player is going to want to talk, but I could always try. Temi she's going to say nice things about Clark, so we're going to want to hear from her. I think current players, it's going to be hard to get an interview because they have to talk to the press all the time. Maybe in the off season, they will give me an interview, but during the season, I probably won't get one. Donna Taurasi, and she would love to interview with me, right? She knows I'm a big fan. Angel, oh yeah, she could talk about the league. That's a good idea. All right, let me write that down. She wants to get back in the league, but her problems wasn't that she wasn't any good. It's because she kept getting injured, I understand. She hasn't been healthy for like 5 years. She kept getting injured. She couldn't finish the years out. And she was a really good player. I think she was led the league in scoring or something like that. But she's 37 now, and she hasn't done anything successfully for 5 years. That's a long time. I don't know if you saw my video. I said that I thought that if Maya Moore could make a comeback and play with Caitlin Clark, I thought that would be cool because she got married and had a child in July of 2022. So she comes back, her kid's almost 2 years old. She starts playing in the spring, that's doable. You don't want to do it when your kid's just born, but all the players take a year off and they play. This is like the same thing. It's as if she took last year off and come back. She must deep down feel like, oh, I didn't finish my career. I didn't fulfill it. And she knows she knows Caitlin Clark is her idol. So she would love to coach and monitor her. Yeah. Temi is so much fun. Yeah, I know. I love Temi. Gosh, it was like, I saw her for the first time she played. I was watching it and it was like, wow, this woman has a lot of energy. And Rob loved her immediately because he's a defensive specialist. He used to be like 6 man, come off the bench and if some guy was hot, he'd cover him or something like that. Yeah, I know what Maya did. Yeah, it's great. It's a great story. I'm a criminal defense attorney. I know the whole story. And the guy turned out he was innocent. And she was convinced, and they fell in love and got married and have a kid. And I mean, great. It's a great story. I mean, except for the fact that she had to put her career on hold. I was hoping she didn't have to put her career on hold. She could still do it, but she felt it was like a full-time effort to get this guy out of jail, and it worked. And, she's got a big heart. and she seemed like a nice person. She'd be great. She'd be great for this team. I mean, don't they need veteran leadership? Of course, they'd have to have another coach because Maya Moore would be rolling her eyes all the time. Like, can you imagine what she would think of this coach? Oh, God, that would be unbelievable. All right. Feel free to call in if you want. And we got a super chat down below if you want to contribute to the channel. You have to reconsider. I'm still licensed. I just practice part-time. I do criminal defense work. I'm not as active as I was before. But I don't like it anymore. That's one reason I don't want to do it. I'd rather do this. It's a lot more fun. Not all attorneys are bad. Some are good. Some of us are honest. Oh, it's so bad of you. All right. So how many people think they have any chance in the next 2 games to win? So I think I went over the schedule, right? They're the Aces and the Liberty. Is that what I said? Let me just see what's the schedule. Yeah. Liberty is 16-3 and the Aces are 10-6. Those are, let's see. The first one I think is away. Hang on. What do we got here? At the Aces and then home versus the Liberty, Mystics, and Mercury. All right. Well, they could win 2 of those. They could win the second 2 home games. What do you guys think? You think they can win any of those games? Obviously, they can win home against Mercury and the Mystics. But Fever is learning what Iowa learned, the best on the run. Yeah, their half-court offense isn't very good, is it? There's something wrong with their half-court offense. Sometimes it works when they do the pick and roll and, with Clark and Boston, but it's hard to have a good a half-court offense when you got someone like Mitchell who doesn't pass the ball. Now, by the way, she got benched yesterday. Do you think someone said in the comments that that she thought she got benched because she wasn't passing the ball. But I said, well, if that's true, why didn't she get benched about 19 games ago for not passing the ball? So, she's had a year and a half to get Mitchell to start passing the ball. Well, why can't she do it? Just bench her. And, she'll start passing eventually. You just keep benching her. It's not like you're going to win the championship with her anyway, so I would just bench her. But you saw in the second half, she actually worked the ball with Clark a couple times, and she got the ball back, and then she scored a 3. If she would just remember that Clark wants to give you the ball back in a nice position where you might be open because she draws double teams. Mitchell's so stubborn. She just wants to get her 18 points. Yeah, she did. She passed it to Clark a couple times. And, yeah, I remember that play. And if she would do that more often, the whole team would play better. It's so frustrating to watch. How does such a selfish player last in this league? How does some coach not correct her behavior at some point? I just don't understand it. I can't remember a player in the NBA that gets away with that to that extent. You name me one player in the NBA who just never passes to the rest of his team. He'd be on the bench. How do you get away with it in WNBA? Give me one player in the NBA that does that. Wallace made a layup. Yeah, big deal. I put that in our video today about Caitlin Clark not being a one-trick pony. At least she makes her layups almost all the time. Yeah, she goes to the right side all the time, but she makes her layups. Other people in this league can't even make layups. It's embarrassing. She took her out. I just don't understand. If only dawned on them, they run the court fast on the team. Yeah. And, did Fig Bentley, did she get injured again? I know she had a sore hand and she was playing with a sore hand, but did she get injured, like a third injury, unrelated to her first 2 injuries in the game? Because she wasn't there much in the end of the fourth quarter. Donna Taurasi and BG are suddenly lovey-dovey towards Caitlin Clark. I ain't buying it. I don't know. Who knows? Here, let me just say, Brittany Griner may be abrasive to some people, especially because she, she didn't kneel for the flag. She's been on kind of in her best behavior since she's come back. You know what I mean? Except for, I thought she was on her best behavior until she pushed Boston. But she hasn't said anything, or she hasn't, kneeled for the national anthem again. And maybe she was trying to turn the table a little bit, and then she lost it against Boston by being nice to Clark. I don't know. I actually was touched by the fact that she whispered in her ear and Clark, smiled and laughed, and she thought it was very, very nice. Maybe she made a pass at her. I don't know. No, I'm just kidding. She's married. Not Clark. All right, now Brittany Griner's married and Caitlin Clark is straight, but she did laugh about it, so she was being nice. Yeah, I mean, you know what? Here's the thing. Brittany Griner probably had a rough life looking like she does. She has a voice that's twice as deep as any of us. And it's probably very depressing to be her. She's very, very tall, which was, besides being a lesbian and looking fairly masculine, I don't want to insult her, but she knows what she looks like. So she probably could relate to how Clark is on the outside looking in with the league. So I think maybe that's what instigated the little, whisper in the air, hey, I got your back. I know what it's like, don't worry, keep it up. Maybe that's what happened. She's a human being. Let me know what you guys think of that idea. I don't know. You don't think that she could relate to the fact that Clark is getting picked on in the league, and she was picked on her whole life probably because of how she looked? I don't know. Seems like a logical theory to me. Nobody else seems to be jumping in agreeing with me, but who knows? I don't know what motivated her, but even Taurasi smiled and hugged her. Yeah, so I don't know what to say, but I think she probably had a rough life. All right, Top Gun agrees. All right, my name's Mark, not Narc. I'm not a narc. All right, so anyways, anyone want to tell me their opinion on the next 4 games? What are their chances in their next 4 games? They got an away game against the Liberty, home against the Aces, home against the Mystics, home against Mercury. I would say I think they can win those home games, except against the Aces, right? Is that what I said? The Aces were second and the Liberty? No, what did I say? I forgot which one was first. Yeah, hang on. Yeah, Liberty. Those are probably losses, but you know what? This team can play well at times. Yeah, I am not so anti-Griner for the Olympic team. I saw her play in the last Olympics and the one before, and no one internationally can stop her. And you saw she's got a nice soft jumper. She can play. She can block. She can score. She's really hard to stop for the international teams. Yeah, I know she didn't kneel for the national anthem. I know that she did something stupid, and we got to get rid of. Got to get released from prison. Angel of Death. That was very sad, but it's Diana Taurasi that doesn't belong to the team. Let's be honest. She's not. At least Griner's one of the top 12 players in the league. Diana Taurasi's not, and she's had her share. She's got 5. What does she need 6 for? Just to set a record? That's the only reason this is happening. As long as they play as a team, they could win most of their games. Yeah, I agree. The team, they can win. So lose to the Aces. Yeah. So we'll find out what happened. Well, Bobby, that's obvious, but I agree with you 100%. In fact, if she had a different coach and she just had a normal scenario, look at Angel Reese. Teresa Witherspoon doesn't come across as real likable, but she's a good coach. And she's letting Angel Reese be Angel Reese and play her game. And she's coaching her well. She's probably teaching her defense, probably teaching her rebounding, boxing out, probably telling her to work on her offensive game. So she's got a scenario where the coach is actually helping her fulfill her potential. And Caitlin Clark is just the opposite. She can never fulfill her potential with this coach because she's just not a good enough coach. She's incompetent. And she does everything she can to put Caitlin Clark down after the game. Just take the high road once in a while and maybe take some blame for like, oh, maybe I need to coach him better in this area. Or I need to coach him better in this area. I've heard coaches say that. But Side said she loves CC. Well, she has a strange way of showing it. That's all I. What can I say? My name is Captain Obvious, Bobby said. Oh, well, I think Angel is tough rebounder. I sort of feel she intentionally missed her layup so she can rebound. I don't know about that, Joseph, but that is funny. If it's so anyways, hang on. But where's my phone? I got it. Where it is. Anyways, yeah, she's at a big advantage. Because that's, if that means she might actually win Rookie of the Year for that reason. So, because she's going to be able to excel at her best. But, I don't know. I'm going to take, I don't like Angel Reese, but I'm giving her a break because she's 22. And I didn't give Taurasi a break because she's 42. But she needs to work on her offensive game. And if she really wants to be, one of the very best players in the league, she has no shot, really. She has awful form. But she can rebound like crazy. She could be the best rebounder in the league. She's the best offensive rebounder. And that goes along. I don't think his defense is great. She doesn't get any blocks, but she does play tough in the post. And she's a pretty strong woman. She's 6'3". She looks like she's pretty strong. She's not big like Camila Cardoza, but she looks strong. Yeah. So yeah, she's like she said, she's a dog and you can't teach that. And that, that as Rob says, defense is work and rebounding is just whining it better more than anybody else. I wonder how many coaches right now in the league. I don't know about in the league. I wonder how many coaches that are unemployed or in the college or are waiting for their job, because most of the ones, yeah, if I was a coach, I would love that team. Oh my God, please give me that team. They're such a young team. I know Mitchell's a problem and I know whatever. Put Celeste Taylor back on the team. If Mitchell doesn't start passing, I bench her. Give me that team. Are you kidding me? Who wouldn't want a young, talented team to mold them into a champion? That would be a dream job for other coaches. Sides feels like this is like a chore for her. Like this is awful. I got Caitlin Clark. What do I do? Yes, someone like my O.J. Simpson scenario. See, Rob and I grew up an hour from Buffalo. O.J. Simpson, I made a whole video on this, right? Well, it was half a video because it was Scottie Pippen. And he got injured one of the years, so he missed a few games his second year, but he was pretty much healthy for 3 seasons. They had 2 coaches. They sucked. He had the third coach. He sucked even worse. They decided, we want to balance offense. We got this superstar running back. We're not even going to give you the ball much. And that you should have seen him in college. I was a little kid, but I could remember these 2 long runs as junior and senior. I was watching football with my dad. Like, oh my God, he was so much more exciting than everybody else. And then Lou Saban comes around, boom, 4 yards a carry to 4.3 yards a carry, 600 yards a season to 1,400. The next year, 6 yards a carry, and then 2,000. You can just see, I'm just giving these statistics so you can see the numbers that could happen to Caitlin Clark with a real coach and a real team. They could blow up unbelievable. By year 3, she would be the best player in the league. No question. She could do it in year 2 if she had that coach the first year. I don't think she was ever going to be the best player in the league this year because I think the forwards and the centers have an advantage. And that's why I think Candace Parker was able to pull that off, MVP, and she's 6'4". But yeah, that's why I made a video of that. OJ killed 2 people, got away with it, but it's still a good analogy. Let's see, Top Gun. CC is 13th in blocks and 12th in steals. Yeah, Rob and I talked about this like twice recently, right? I don't want to keep repeating what I put in the videos, but she's a very good off the ball defender, believe it or not. That's how she gets most of her steals and even half her blocks. And she gets way more blocks than Angel Reese. Angel Reese has like 2 blocks this year. I don't know if she got one the other day, but she had like 2 blocks. Caitlin Clark is almost averaging a block a game, and she's a guard. She just struggles with on-the-ball defense, and she just had bad habits with not moving her feet and didn't bend her knees. She's got to hire Drew Holidays, like I said, and Trae Young. Trae Young could teach her the floater in the off season. or even over the Christmas break. They got a whole month. She's not on the team. How many? Tell me down below. By the way, you can call in if you want, or you can make a donation to Super Chat down there. At dollar sign is. Tell me if you I was gonna say, if you want to do that, let me know. Tell me what other. If you want to talk about the NBA things, Paul George is a good signing for the Sixers. I'm in Philadelphia, so I at least got to bring that up again in case you weren't here in the beginning of the half hour. And Klay Thompson went to the Dallas. Good for them because they needed more defense and more and third scorer. So that's obviously a huge pickup, even though he's past his peak. But Paul George is past his peak. But Paul George shot well last year, and he's a good defender. And that's going to help the Sixers in the playoffs a lot, especially Joe Embiid can't make it through the year. Yeah, Klay's out. Yeah, Klay signed. And Chris Paul signed with the Spurs. Now, obviously, the Spurs weren't any good last year, and they're not going to win a championship. They might not even make the playoffs. But he could teach Victor W a lot, and he could get it into the post for him and stuff like that. And, teach him how to win, teach him how to be tough. I have no confidence that Sides will learn from what no, Sides doesn't learn from anything. Yankees go blue, Major League Baseball. Major League Baseball. I don't these all Clark fans on here. We're talking NBA right now, but lives are superior to your videos. So you not need to post videos to grow your channel. Oh, really? Okay. No. You want me to do 2 hours from now on Monday nights, or do more live shows? I didn't know how much people liked the live show. I mean, the first couple live shows we did were just my friends because we didn't have very many members. Of course, we were growing very fast. The first 6 weeks, it took a while for anybody to find us. And then they started recommending us, and we went from 90 subscribers to almost 1,700 since May 28th. So that was just in a little over a month. We got 1,500 subscribers after it took us 7 weeks to get 90 subscribers. So you like the live show. Okay, well, I have never done it before a few weeks ago. I never did live shows before. So I will do more live shows if you want. I could start next week with doing 2 hours if you want, especially if Rob's here. It's easier to do it with 2 people. You don't like our videos? What do you mean? Maybe I'm just that good live. That's what you're trying to say. Our lives are superior to your videos, so you're not. I'm going to do live for the Olympics because I love the Olympics. So I'm going to do 2 to 5 every day for 14 straight days. I think from Saturday through the following Saturday. I'll do that. So, and that's going to be all like marquee events. So it's going to be great. You're going to get all the exciting swimming events, all the gymnastics, all the track and field. And so, hey, thanks for joining us, SC. Have a good evening too for you. So, so definitely do live shows for the Olympics. And so I'll be able to do that because even when I have court, all my court is in the morning. So I'll be able to do that. And that's going to be their prime time. And they're going to have like a double 2 prime times. They're going to do another prime time at night, but none of it's going to be live. It's going to be simulated live where they pretend like it's live and you're not supposed to know, but everybody knows. So it kind of sucks. It's too bad. It's impossible to do it because we're in different time zones. It's only works out well when it's in the US, or Canada or something like that, or even if Mexico ever hosts it. Rob is superior to me. Okay. Sorry. I'm second fiddle. I'm second fiddle, even though I started the channel. What can I say? Rob knows more about the ins and outs of certain parts of basketball because he coached it and played it at a high level. I think I know more about football than him, but I know a lot about basketball, but not as much of the ins and outs of that. Anyways, notice CC effective calling plays against Wheeler. Not sure what that means. Calling plays against Wheeler. Thank you, Joseph. Pretty funny together. Thanks. Rob's easy to get along with, so we lightens it up. And I think we've only been doing this since our first video went up April 5th of this year. So we've only been doing this for a little while. I think we'll get funnier as we loosen up and get used to making videos. So I think you'll do that. I dabbled in stand-up comedy off and on for a number of years. I never did it professionally, but I do have a sense of humor. Rob can't get his words out sometimes. So I can't get my words out either sometimes. Sometimes I go, oh, what was I about to say? Or sometimes I don't pronounce a word properly. Like, oh my God, what did I just do? You guys are going to hear that. Uh, Rob's good though. He's got a good perspective on racism. He's got a good perspective and society. He knows a lot about basketball. He's a big football fan. He told me too. So we're going to find that out. And he's a Cleveland Browns fan. And you're a lawyer, yeah. So the way it started was I wanted to do a channel, and I needed somebody to do it with. And I knew my friends on Facebook, and we went to high school together. And I reached out to him, and he said, "Yeah." He didn't think the analogies in basketball were that good, and he thought he could do better. I said, "Okay, great. That's my weaker of the two sports I want to follow." So you'll see when I do football. You'll see I know a lot about football, even though I never played it or coached it. I'm going to try to do more NFL than college, but I'll do both. I can't get you. I thought the opposite was true. Yeah, Rob was joking about that the other day. Like I said, I was a loss for words, and he started saying he was going to faint. Yeah. I'm glad I picked Rob to do this show. I don't think it would be as good if I chose someone else. So, and like I said, I think someone said we had really good chemistry. Someone wrote a note in one of the videos, and he said, we have a better, what's this? Better legs, Lexi Hall or Sophie Cunningham? I purposely don't I purposely don't comment on the women's looks, especially the ones that are like the college age ones and stuff like that, because I'm older. But everyone knows Kelsey Plum is hot, right? I can say that. She's older. She's a little bit older. I can say that. Doesn't sound as bad. So, but someone's talking about someone's legs. I don't know. Well, a lot of them are going to have nice legs. They're tall. So I can see that. Yeah. And by the way, Kelsey Plum is single. I think I read that her husband was cheating on her. It always amazes me when you see this really attractive woman and her husband's cheating on her. Now, I don't know what the relationship is and get along at home in any kind of scenario, like with these celebrities and stuff. But yes, everybody knows she's hot. And that's a great scenario too, where this stupid thing where they say the main reason that Caitlin Clark is popular is because she's white. I'm going to give you two scenarios. One is Breanna Stewart had 4 championships, 3 Player of the Years, and 4 Finals MVPs or Final 4 MVPs, I guess they call it. She came out of UConn. So that's 4th advantages over Caitlin Clark. And yeah, she's a lesbian and she's not the prettiest woman in the league. But there was no buzz about her, about people wanting to watch her play other than like 5%. Nothing. And she's white. Okay. Kelsey Plum was a big time scorer and Player of the Year, right? And she's attractive. And she didn't turn the needle either. And last I checked, she's white. So for them to say it's the main reason is because she's white is just not logical. Yes, it's a little bit. There's going to be some white people that watch her because she's white. But really, we all know the real reason we watch her. She's so gosh darn exciting when she plays. That's the real reason. And she's great, too. Part of the fun watching women's sports is looking for the cuties. Yes, I do. I do. Like I said, if they're real young, I try not to comment on them if they're too young. Like a gymnast, I'm not going to say anything about a gymnast. They're usually like 16, 20 years old. But then there's one gymnast who's making $5 million a year, Olivia Dunn, cute as a button. And she's got all her fans are really young too, like high school boys are screaming for her. And she took advantage of social media, and she's never even placed like higher than 18th in the country. She's making all this money. You can look her up, Olivia Dunn, cute blonde. But anyways, she took advantage of social media, and she's making a ton of money. And that's Angel Reese took advantage of the fact that she looks good in a bikini, and that's how part of her social media is popular. So, anyways. The soccer team, and then her phone ruined it. Isn't she married to Diana Taurasi? Right? Yeah. The women have some. The women's team always had some attractive women. Not all of them, but some of them. And some of the volleyball players. There's a few in the WNBA. Who's the one that just came back from maternity leave? Skylar Diggins Smith, right? She's attractive. Sue Bird's pretty. Oh, Sue Bird. Oh, Sue Bird's married to her opponent. Is that what it is? Okay. Sue Bird's pretty. I mean, she's not available to guys, but she's pretty. Her, I feel comfortable saying about. She's in her 40s. You know, people can't give me a hard time about that one. Collier is hot. Collier, she. I think Collier's pretty. Yeah. So yeah, there's some attractive women in WNBA. Percentage-wise, unfortunately I don't think that's the case. So, but anyway, we'll see what happens. So I'll go a little longer. So if you guys are enjoying this, I don't really have any big plans for tonight. If you want me to continue, I'll continue. I don't really. 7-8. I just chose a time when Rob and I said, hey, we should do a live show at least once a week. I just chose this time because I figured I wouldn't have to adjust it come football season because we get ready for Monday Night Football, but I'll probably do 6 to 8. What am I drinking? This is iced tea with lemon and no sugar. So sugar's not good for your throat when you're talking or broadcasting. And I don't put sugar in my iced tea anyways. So it's just iced tea to keep me awake for you guys. And also because I like the taste of it. So iced tea, I drink a lot of iced tea during the warm 6 months and the hot tea during the other months. No, not a Long Island iced tea. Although a Long Island iced tea is a great drink. No, if you give me a break, I mean, if you give me a moment, I can go make myself a scotch. So, all right, okay. Who wants to take over the show when I go make my margarita? I could do that. Next week when Rob is here, I'll take a break in the middle and go make a margarita for myself. Now drink it the last hour of the show. I'll drink iced tea the first hour, and then Bobby will take over. Booby bowl. The Long Island iced teas are ones that you drink when you're not driving. So I go to this bar on Friday and Saturday nights because they have live funky jazz and rhythm and blues. And believe it or not, I dance. And if I go there, I don't worry about what I drink because I'm walking home 2 blocks. But driving nowadays, I don't take the chance. So I live in downtown Philadelphia, so I don't have to drive to go to a bar. There's so many bars here, it's unbelievable. All right, here's a non-sports question. What's your favorite drink? Alcoholic drink. Tell me your favorite alcoholic drink. I do not wish for the Fever to make the playoffs. Why is that? Mr. Quipster doesn't want the playoffs? Why is that? I want him to make the playoffs. That's good experience for him. That's trust the process thing. I saw that 6 seasons with the Sixers and got me nothing. Single malt scotch. Okay, well, I have Glenn. Let's see, which one do I have? I have Glenlivet's right now. Glenlivet's. That one I can pour really quickly. I leave the live show, it'll be a blank screen. I come back and say, I do have that. That's about I have a little beer, I have a little scotch, and I have a little tequila and triple sec and lime juice to make margaritas. Those are my 3 drinks I have. I think I have some wine too. Yeah, I don't know how someone remind me. Let me make a note for myself. I want to look that up and see what I don't know how the expansion draft works. I know you can save a certain number of players. Anybody that you can't draft, I think is like 6 players I heard. And then after that, those aren't protected. And then the expansion team gets to pick whoever they want, until they get, I don't know, a certain number of players. Let me look that up tomorrow and see how it's done. I know that's how it's done in other sports. WNBA. I'm hoping they get a Philadelphia team here so I can watch Caitlin Clark in Philadelphia. Because I had to go all the way to Brooklyn to watch her play. I took a bus to New York. I have a brother who's a lawyer in New York City. He met me at the subway station. We took the subway out to Brooklyn, and I watched her play. It was like a 4th game here. She had a decent game, at least. The first 3 games weren't that good. So I was going to see Los Angeles, New York Liberty, I guess it was. And then they had a bunch of celebrities in the crowd. So anyways, let me put that. How does the expansion draft work? NBA. Let me write that down. Draft work in the WNBA. All right, so I'm looking to try an interview with Angel McCutchery or Candace Wiggins. I'll reach out to the Sixers. Maybe I can get an interview with Tyrese Maxey and Paul George. Tyrese Maxey seems like he'd be a cool guy to interview. He seems like a good personality. You guys are obsessed with this woman. Okay, Yankee. She wants to talk about baseball. You know this is not a baseball team. We'll talk about. How about we can talk about Simone Biles? Okay, so let me make an argument for Simone Biles. So we will talk about something besides Caitlin Clark for a minute because I love Simone Biles too. She, and I made this in the video today. I made a short video about it. That she won by 5.5 points, and the difference between her and second place was the same number of points as between second and ninth or second and 10th, depending. It was kind of in between. That's how dominant she is. And when she did the World Championship, that was the same thing. She's the most dominant athlete in the world because the difference between her and the second best person in their profession is greater than any other sport. I would make that argument. So, anyways, more women Yankees. Okay. Anyways, that's Simone Biles won the U.S. Championship a few weeks ago, and she also won the U.S. Championship last year. She won the World Championship last year, and then she won the gymnastic trials. And she's favored to win the gold medal, at least in the all-around. She's favored to win the vault. She's favored to win the floor. She's one of the favorites for the balance beam. I don't know if she's the absolute favorite. And she's not going to probably get a medal in the uneven bars because she's so short. That's her hardest routine. Sydney McLaughlin, Laverne, I think I'm not sure how to pronounce her husband's last name. She set a world record yesterday. And it was the 5th time she's broken the world record in the 400-meter hurdles. Noah Lyles, there's a little gymnastic review. He won the 200 the other day. He had won the 100 earlier. And Shakira Richardson choked in the 200 finals. She had tied for her best time, personal best in the semis at 19.92, and she choked out in the finals, and she got like a 2.12 and came in 4th. But she won the 100. So she's going to her first Olympics. And yeah, Sydney's amazing. She was a prodigy at like 16. And she was the best in the world by the time she was 19. She was world champion in 2019. And now she set the world record 5 times. And although she's not available, even though she's a queen, she got married like last year or something like that. 2 years. So whether you find her attractive or not, she's not available. And they showed, what did they show in the stands? What's her name? I forgot her name. It was Red Sox. Yankee go blue. What's your favorite team, Yankee go blue? When was the War of 1812? Oh, yeah, Willie Mays. We talked about Willie Mays last week. You weren't here, Yankee go blue, but I did. I talked about him. I was born in 59, so I only watched him play a little bit. And by that time, he was a little bit older. But I consider him the most exciting baseball player of all time. He's certainly the second best player of all time, if he's not the best player of all time. He's the best all-around baseball player of all time. He's the most complete baseball player of all time. And I don't know what you can say about him. And he's a great player. And it was sad that he died, but everybody dies. And I'm glad he was able to join the major leagues after Jackie Robinson broke the color barrier, because he actually, I think. Willie Mays actually played in the Negro Leagues for a couple of years when he was really young. So, I mean, it's unusual for a baseball player to be exciting, but Willie Mays was exciting. I'm sure Jackie Robinson was too. And if you see how fast Jackie Robinson was and how many times he stole home, he was very exciting. He was Rookie of the Year too. So, yeah, it was a shame what took place that the Negro Leagues had to exist because white people were being racist. And when the NBA started, there wasn't any black players, but that only lasted for a few years. It started around 46. By 1950, there were blacks in the league. So it only happened for like 4 years where there weren't any blacks in the league. Football, they kind of were there pretty much the whole time. I think they were never really barred from it in football. But they didn't really not prevalent until the 50s. But in the 40s too, because the Cleveland team had a lot of black players. What's my favorite baseball movie? The Natural. The Natural. That's my favorite baseball movie. And then I don't know if I have a favorite football movie. I don't know if they've ever made a great football movie, have they? Give me a football movie. Basketball movie what's the one with Gene Hackman? Where the Indiana team won the championship. What was that movie called again? I've drawn a blank. Who knows the name of that movie I'm talking about? I got to look it up with Gene Hackman. Hoosiers, yes. That's my favorite basketball movie, Hoosiers. I like it when he they're drawing up a play, and they figure, okay, he's going to get the ball. This isn't going to work. He's going to be triple teams. And the guy goes, "Coach, I'll make it." He's like Larry Bird. It's like Larry Bird said that. He goes, he dropped a play, and he goes, "Just give me the ball. I'll make it." He goes, "Okay." Field of Dreams made you cry. All right, see, Yankee, we're talking about baseball for you. I tried to talk about baseball last week, and you weren't here. I talked about Willie Mays. Yeah, I love Hoosiers and The Natural. I thought The Natural was a great story, and it's unclear to me why he didn't make a comeback earlier. But it just mentally, I guess he wasn't ready. But everybody likes comebacks, and it was a shame what happened. In the story at least, he gets shot. So, yeah, Yankee Blue. These guys are all obsessed with Caitlin Clark. What are you gonna say? I'll be honest with you. She is the most exciting athlete since Michael Jordan. I look forward to watching her play more than LeBron James, and I'm a big LeBron James fan. I'm not a hater. I don't really. His personality is kind of, in between, but I still love watching him play. I love watching Steph Curry play, but I think I'm more interested in watching Caitlin Clark play than any athlete since Michael Jordan. Although I'm really looking forward to Simone Biles, of course, because she's from another planet. It's just unbelievable. She looks so much better. She looks like she's 1.5 times better than anybody. That reminded me of Cheryl Miller. That's what I talked about earlier. She looked literally 1.5 times better than anybody else when I watched her play. Who's that? Simone Biles? Yeah. She's great to watch. I like how Sydney comes into the track and doesn't wave to the crowd, doesn't look at anything. She is laser focused. She wins. She just sits down in the track, doesn't even congratulate the other players. She's just totally one mindset. I guess that's why she set 5 world records. Yeah, Caitlin moves smoothly. Yeah, I think Caitlin's a very good athlete. I don't know why people think she's not a great athlete. She's actually a very good athlete. She's not as fast as some of the other players in the league, but she's pretty. I think she's above average in speed and quickness. Let's see what else is here. Mr. Terrible. How'd you get a name from Mr. Terrible? Agree, Mark. As a contrarian, I rejected the Clark stuff at first. I was sold the first moment I saw her play, and I was like, and then last year I called my brother up and said, he basically likes, the Warriors and the Celtics. He lives in Boston, but he likes Steph Curry and stuff. And I said, you got to watch this woman play. This is the most exciting woman player since Cheryl Miller. And I loved Candace Parker, but she wasn't that exciting. And I like Maya Moore. And that's why I get insulted with this race thing. I go, my 3 favorite women players of all time were all black until Candace Clark came around. Maya Moore, Candace Parker, and Cheryl Miller. And I like Cheryl Swoops too. Now I don't like her, but I liked watching her play. And she played defense. I liked her all-around game. So I get insulted with that race stuff. The main reason is because she's exciting. It's for me, it's zero that she's white. I know for some white people, maybe some of the little girls or some racist people, they watch her because she's white, dominating the black league. Or not, she's not dominating the black league yet, but she was dominating college basketball. So they can pretend all they want. That's the main reason, but it's not. Yeah, it was because Swoops didn't make any money because she played a long time ago. That's not her fault, but now she seems like the racist. Black people can't be racist, she said. And she loves Angel Reese and hates Caitlin Clark for no reason other than jealousy and envy. Caitlin Clark never did anything to Cheryl Swoops. Even after she said all those lies about her, Clark took the high road. She said, it's cool, whatever. He made a mistake. They talked. Didn't say anything. She's taking the high road every time. She took a high road with Angel Reese when she did the ring thing in the face. She's been taking the high road since she's got in the league. She says all positive things about the whole league and its history, and they still give her a hard time. I don't know. Yeah, AJ Wilson was out of line. And for the reason I just gave, because she said it's a huge reason. Race is not a huge reason when it comes to Caitlin Clark. It's certainly a reason, and it's a small reason, though. And I can't give you a percentage, but it's a small reason. And I already explained all the reasons why I think it's obvious that it's not because of her race, because Kelsey Plum and Brianna Stewart and all the other white players. A lot of great white players have come in the WNBA, and none of them moved the needle in terms of popularity or attendance and TV views or anything like that. So obviously there's something different about her than anybody else. It's nothing to do with whether she's white or black, because none of the black players move the needle because they're not as exciting as her. None of the players are exciting as her. That's just what it amounts to. She has someone said in the comments today, and it was a great comment, she has the it factor. And that's what I have to do. This league sucks. Can we please talk about real sports? I talked about the NBA and nobody wanted to. I thought, hey, I think Chris Paul is going to be a great player coach for the Spurs. I think the Spurs are going to win a lot more games next year just because they need something to push them over the edge. And Victor W is going to be better, even better next year. And he'll be the best player in the league at some point. Everybody knows that. I just don't know what year it's going to be. I think by year 3, he'll be the best player in the league. And I think Paul George is a good fit. I just don't know where they're going to put all the playing time when they got 2 players who play the same position. two small forwards, same size. But they really need another scorer and more defense for playoffs. And I think Klay Thompson's going to be a great fit for Dallas. They need more defense and need more scoring, a third scorer. So it's great. I'm a tennis fan. I never hated on Serena or Venus. I cheered them on as so did I. I remember when she won her first major, I was like, whoa, I was like in my, my apartment cheering, and like it was Serena and she got her first major. I think it was the US Open, if I'm not mistaken, right? It was either US Open or Wimbledon, her first major. And I was cheering her on, and I've cheered her on from the very beginning. And there was a few times where she didn't get the main court and some of these majors for some reason, even though she was already well known. It was like, that was bizarre. Like some of the white players did. I thought that was racist. They were talking about him, pardon the interruption. And I said, really? I mean, I wasn't watching the earlier rounds. I go, my God. So I don't know. I support, I don't care what race anybody is when I follow an athlete. If the athlete is exciting to me, and they're great, that's all that matters to me. I'm there for my enjoyment. And that's what gives me enjoyment, is if they're exciting and they're great. I mean, isn't that what sports is about? Aesthetically pleasing and also competitiveness and winning. I don't know. Men. What about men? Yankee go blue. What about men? All right. You're still going to say, wait, last time Yankee go blue was here, he said that Shaq was a role player on Miami. Just started a controversy there. Okay, so we're going to do a video. Other than tennis players. Well, did you enjoy the pregame love mercy? Yeah, we talked about that earlier. Will, you probably wondered earlier. We did it. We did talk about that. I thought it was very nice of them, and I don't know if it was planned between the two of them, because none of the other 3 starters gave her a hug. Just the 2 of them, and they're probably pretty close. Olga Korbut and Natty Comaneci were exciting. So were Janet Evans and Chris Evert. Yes, and they were all white. Yeah. No, I don't. Like I said, I don't care. Olga Korbut. I remember the 1972 Olympics because I was 13, and I forget the announcer's name. Drawing a blank on his name, but he was a really good announcer, and he used to do it every Olympics. And she did the uneven bars, and she did the backflip off the bars, and that was way more exciting than any move anyone ever seen before. And like I remember watching 68 Olympics, I don't remember anything like that. And that was the first Olympics I remember, was 68. And the guy goes, I gave her an 11. And then she went in, she had that crooked, cute smile. And then she's coming back to the next Olympics, and like nobody followed gymnastics that closely, and there wasn't much publicity. And like, so we just tune in for the next Olympics thinking Olga Korbut's the favorite to win the gold. And next thing we know, the year before in the European Championships, Nadia Comaneci had won the all-around. And I remember that Olympics, and I go, oh, okay, well, I'll watch her then too. I'll watch them both, whatever. And Nadia Comaneci was unbelievable. And she was so smooth and everything. So I remember all that. They were all exciting. And I love the Olympics, even though it's too nationalistic and all that. I don't care. You got to root for somebody. You must as well root for your country. You got to choose somebody. Are you going to root from someone in another country? That doesn't seem right. So yeah, it's nationalistic. It's, political and stuff, commercialized, but who cares? I still love the Olympics. That's why I'm going to follow them. And that's why I'm going to do videos. And I'm going to do the live show 2 to 5 for 14 straight days. So You want to call in, you can. It's 215-605-4223. And also, if you want to donate to our cause, our channel, there's a little down in the lower right hand corner. There's a little dollar sign there. It goes to our new studio. We're trying to build a new studio. Go see, because you can tell this studio is not glamorous. It's going to go new studio. Yeah, I live in Center City. What do you want? Jade Carey. Yes, Jade Carey made the team for the second year in a row, right? So actually, 4 of them were on the team last year out of the 5. The only one new was what was her name? She's a 16-year-old Hispanic girl. I forget her name now. I read it off earlier in the video, but 4 of the same people were on the team. There was like 3 injuries too, and one of the women that was supposed to make the team got injured. So that was unfortunate. A lot of injuries in the gymnastic team. So I like what women gymnastics. It's interesting that you think of gymnastics and strength. The men's gymnastics doesn't get nearly as much publicity as the women's. So not many sports where women get more publicity than men. Obviously, gymnastics and figure skating are 2 of them. Beach volleyball, the women actually get more. Surprisingly, women's team volleyball gets more attendance than men's team volleyball in college. Regular volleyball, pretty much the same between men and women if it's not beach. And not much else. I don't know what other sports that women get more publicity. Tennis is pretty even. So that's good. I'm glad for that, for women. Let the league stay male or female. That includes coaching and commentary. Let the league stay male or female. Right. And commentary. Yeah, I do not. I've said this before, and it's not sexist, because I feel when I watch a WNBA game, I don't care who does the play-by-play, but I want an ex-WNBA player or coach to do the color commentary. That's what I want. But when I watch an NBA game, I want an ex-NBA player or coach. And we didn't get that this year, the finals. We got one ex-NBA player. Nothing against Doris Burke. She's like an average commentator. And why is she doing the finals? And she's female. She didn't play in the NBA. She doesn't know the ins and outs of the NBA. It's a different sport than the WNBA. And she didn't play in the WNBA either. I didn't think she was good enough. I don't know if you can. I call that overly woke. Woke is okay. Overly woke is not good. That's when it goes too far. Overly PC. That's what I call it. Yeah. Burke is horrible. I don't know if she's horrible, but she's certainly average. She certainly doesn't belong doing a men's game in the finals. You know, Mark Jackson and Van Gundy, at least they had good chemistry. Sometimes Mark Jackson's personality could, be a little aggravating. Van Gundy had kind of a fun personality. Once in a while, he had these weird views, but they had good chemistry together, and they both knew the sport. They were both coaches, and Jackson was a player. They knew the sport. So you're going to get the ins and outs of the game more than you're going to get from Doris Burke. That's all there is to it. And I believe for color and commentary, you should be an ex-player or coach for a sport because you're going to know it better. Like Howard Cosell used to do commentary along with Danny Don. And he didn't play football. Danny Don was a quarterback. Quarterbacks know the game. They're forced to learn the game better than any other position. So, that's why quarterbacks and coaches often get hired to be commentators. But Howard Cosell was an exception because he was a personality. Yeah. I don't know. Monday Night Football. Wow, it's gone downhill, hasn't it? It has gone downhill. Hubie Brown is good. I say Doug Collins is as good as any color commentator in the history of sports. I actually like Tony Romo. I'm sorry. I know some people don't like him, but he says things that no other color commentator in football has ever said before. He's pointed out things that he's good with a 2-minute drill. He's good at anticipating play calls and what they should do in certain situations. Because again, he was a quarterback. They had to know these things. And he was a quarterback in the league. And they have a woman commentating on ESPN about football. And she started saying, the history of the Denver is they can't get a quarterback to do well for their organization. Meanwhile, John Elway got Peyton Manning. They won a Super Bowl because of it. Like, what is she talking about? Rob showed me this one clip of her. I said, really? That's what she said? That was her commentary? That was her criticism of the Denver organization because when they signed Russell Wilson? It's like before, oh my God. Like, what are you talking about? Who's a dork? Dikembe Mutombo's a dork. Yeah. If they are not on, I don't watch you. Yeah, the Mannings, I mean, God, talk about insightful football. Sometimes they go over your head. Marv Albert is the best play-by-play basketball ever in basketball. He wasn't as good in football as he was in basketball. Football, you got a few choices for football, but Marv Albert was the best in basketball. So definitely. And Doug Collins was the best in basketball, and I think Hubie Brown was probably second. Hubie Brown's still doing it. I don't know why Doug Collins is retired. I don't know. He's not doing anything right now. Maybe Doug Collins wants to coach Clayton Clark. What do you think? Doug Collins? Anyone besides Dick Enberg was great. Yeah. And Pat Summerall. Pat Summerall was great at play-by-play. And in college was Keith Jackson. So, yeah, those guys were all great announcers. You know, I was really disappointed in Dan Patrick, though. I put that in a video with the Olympic take that he had. I really don't think he was very insightful on Caitlin Clark's omission of the Olympic team. And I love his voice. I think he's smart, he's knowledgeable, and he's a legend. But this is what he said, basically. He said, well, do I think she's one of the top 12 players in the league? No. Does she belong on the team? He was kind of wishy-washy. Didn't say anything. And then he goes, well, the other players, they wanted to earn it. And he avoided the two topics that were obvious. Okay, Diana Taurasi didn't earn it because she's not one of top 12 players in the league. And the fact that Caitlin Clark would look like one of the top 12 players in the league if she wasn't double and triple team, and if her coach didn't suck and her teammates didn't suck, and if the refs didn't make all the calls against her, her numbers would like double. It wouldn't even be a close call, but I still think she looks like one of the top 10 players in the league. So it's a no-brainer for her to be on the team, and she's the best passer in the history of women's basketball. My God, just put her on the team already. Drive me crazy. Thank you, Mr. Terrible. Did I see side screen at Clark to pass Sunday? No, I didn't. I didn't see that. Tell me where it is. Thanks for the donation. I'll look it up. Can you tell me at what minute it is? Because I still have the game on tape. I got YouTube TV, and they don't erase it right away. I think they don't erase it for like a month or so. So can you put down like at what minute it is or what quarter, and I can go look at it. And I wonder why she was yelling at her, because she's a mental. She's always yelling. No wonder her voice is always hoarse, you know. And then she gets in the press conference, she throws every player underneath the bus. She never does anything wrong. Her coaching's always just perfect. Her game plan was perfect. Her practices were perfect. Did you guys see that video of that practice? I didn't comment on it and make a video about it, but you can find it on the internet. So they're practicing, and Wheeler has the ball, and she drives towards the basket, and there's wide open Samuelson or Wallace to the left. Doesn't pass it to her. Drives underneath the basket, goes around his circle again. Another person's over on the right-hand side as opposed to the left-hand side. Doesn't pass to her. She comes down the basket a second time. She puts the ball up and hits the back of the bottom of the rim and the backboard. And the coach sides doesn't say anything. She just takes her clipboard and walks away to the other side and doesn't even comment on the play. It was the most bizarre thing in the world. Not only like, what is Wheeler doing? And two, why isn't sides correcting her for saying, hey, we had an open person over here. We had an open person over here. And all you did is drive around and make us dumb throw. Frank Gifford, Al Michael was great. Dan Dierdorf, he didn't do anything for me. Frank Gifford was good at play-by-play. He tried to do color for a while, and he wasn't good enough at it. Thank you, Mr. Terrible, again. So I don't know. Let me know where that is together. Yeah, if Frank Gifford could do play-by-play, but he just wasn't good at color. I don't know what it was. I don't know why, because he played football, but he actually didn't come across as a smart guy to me, believe it or not. He may be the best looking football player ever. He looks like a movie star. If you ever see him when he was younger, he looked like a movie star. It's a guy. He was MVP one year, right? Because I think he was like third in the league in rushing and fourth in the year in passing. It was in the 50s. He was MVP one year, I think. Frank Gifford was a great player. He got laid out by one of the Philadelphia player. What was the guy that went two-way? I forgot his name. He got laid out. And I think he missed like the whole year. So anyways, the three of them. Dennis Miller. Yeah, Dennis Miller. Some of his stand-up's funny, but he was not good on Saturday. He was not good on Monday Night Football. He was just, and then didn't Tony Kornheiser do it for a year? And he got fired, but they let him resign, and he kind of used the excuse that he didn't like to take the plane or something like that. And he wasn't good on Monday Night Football either. He's good on Pardon the Interruption. I actually liked that show. I didn't like Wilbon's take on the Olympics, but Al Michaels didn't know what to do with Miller. He didn't know how to respond to what Dennis Miller was saying because he was saying all these weird stuff, like esoteric. You ever seen his stand-up? He'll do this comparison with someone you never heard of, like from 5,000 years ago. And like we were supposed to read that. We did. I didn't know we had to do homework to go see his stand-up routine. So that's the way he is. But you got to do your homework to watch the WNBA now. Just remember that. They want you to do your homework. All right. So we'll stay till 9 next. So I guess we're going to switch to 6 to 8 so we can start earlier in the day. Is 6 to 8 better than 7 to 9? Because I can't do 7 to 9 football season because Monday Night Football starts. So if I got to do it 2 hours, I would do it like 6 to 8 on Monday nights. I just have to eat an early dinner, right? Oh Lord, Dennis Miller. Oh, is that what you're saying? Dennis Miller was not good on Monday Night Football. They haven't had. When was the last time they had a good tandem or good trio on Monday Night Football? What about Chris Collinsworth? You guys like Chris Collinsworth? Some people don't like him because they think he plays favorites. So I don't know. I think he's actually pretty good, but some people don't like him. So anyways, that's Chris Collinsworth. And Mike Tirico does a good job, but I hate to say this, but he drives me crazy because he doesn't know what an adverb is. He doesn't know what an adverb is. He keeps saying the quarterback has to release the ball quick instead of quickly. And all the announcers do that same mistake. They don't know the word quickly. Gruden was decent. A lot of bad stuff came out about him. I don't know why. I don't know why. Was he that bad? Oh my gosh! Then he sued the league. I wonder what happened with the lawsuit. He sued the league. He basically got forced out. But he did kind of look like he was a jerk if he saw what came out. So he can't get over to losing to San Francisco in the Super Bowl. Yeah, that's true. Dennis Miller lost to the San Francisco in the Super Bowl? No, just kidding. Well, yeah, Yankee Blue fan. You must be a San Fran fan. San Fran. Uh-oh. Didn't they just lose to the Super Bowl recently? Uh-oh. So football's coming up, and there is this guy, and I have to look his name up. He has predicted before the season started the winning Super Bowl team 5 years in a row. So I'm going to go see what he predicts this year. Right now I'm saying Kansas City, which is going to tie the Packers for 3 in a row, which I'm not going to be happy about. But I actually like Andy Reid, and I like Mahomes, and I think if he had a better quarterback in Philadelphia, he would have won a Super Bowl. But McNabb was terrible at the 2-minute drill, and I don't think he was very bright. And I think Andy Reid was bad with time management and the 2-minute drill too at the time. And that's why they weren't a good combination, and that's why they couldn't figure it out. Because you got to be able to be good at the 2-minute drill to win the Super Bowl, because when you play 4 good teams, sometimes only 3, you're going to have one close game. And you got to do something in that game. And that's why they kept losing in the NFC Championship game. But Andy Reid didn't need to know the 2-minute drill because his quarterback, Mahomes, is so good at it himself. He was just natural. So that's my theory on Andy Reid. He's a great coach, but he wasn't good at time management. And he wasn't that good at halftime adjustments either. But now he is. And so now he looks like a genius because he got Patrick Mahomes. Chris Collins with the Audio Matter Time. FV Clarence Darrow or F. Lee Bailey. I know who they both are. They're a very famous criminal defense attorney. Clarence Darrow did a lot of famous cases, and he used to do closing arguments that would last like a day and a half. Back in the day, you were allowed to do that. Nowadays, the judge would tell you, okay, you only got like an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, whatever. You got 30 minutes to do a closing argument. and see these really big cases that give you more time. Athlete Bailey was great until he became kind of a jerk when he got older, and then he got in trouble. He had some money with a client, and there was dispute whether he should have it or he should have it. I think he got put in jail for a while. He got famous for doing the case where, what was it called? What was that famous case? And I can't remember the guy's name. He had a famous case, and a movie was made out of it too. And he got the second time he got trial, he actually got him off. But I still think the guy was guilty, but who knows? Let's see. Yankee Blue. Don't you feel joy when Caitlin Clark hits logo pointer? It's like a drug for me, Mr. Pickle Pants. Mr. Pickle Pants, who do you go? I have a friend named Pickle Man. I wonder if that's the same person. He's got the same first name as me, Mark. Mr. Pickle Pants. How'd you come up with that name? No way. Watch the WNBA. You know what? I'll be honest. I don't watch the WNBA. I watch Caitlin Clark and I watch the Indiana Fever when Caitlin Clark is on it. If she gets injured, I'm not watching the Indiana Fever. When some other teams are on, I don't watch those games. So if they want me to see AJ Wilson to play, guess what? She's got to play the Indiana Fever. That's the only game. I watched a little bit until 2016 when they didn't put Candace Parker in the Olympic team because Gino hated her. I said, F this league. I'm not watching anymore. It wasn't that exciting to begin with. It really pissed me off. As they've done that 4 times now where they screwed someone over. And this has nothing to do with race. There's 2 white women and 2 black women it's been very consistent. Becky Hammond and the player last Olympics, I forget her name. I can't pronounce her name. And she's black. So it has to do with like UConn. Gino he wanted all UConn players. He's looking pretty dumb right now. He said Caitlin Clark didn't have the skills necessary. I wrote it down. Let's see, necessary skills. She has the wrong skill set to handle the physicality of the league. My God, are you kidding me? Wrong skill set. 3-point shooting and passing. Boy, that really hurts. That's really bad for this league. Are you kidding me? I believe that 3-point shooting is even more important in the WNBA than in the NBA. And I'll tell you why. It's because their post games suck and their layups suck. So the 3-point shooting, making them are even more important because that's where the more scoring are more important. In addition to that, the 3-point shot is closer, so it's an easier shot. So I believe that 3-point shooting is even more important in the WNBA than the NBA. Yeah, Gino, he's so biased towards UConn. He also said this was not one of the best drafts in the last 10 years. And another YouTuber actually analyzed all 10 years. And actually, it's probably like in the top 3. He's like second or third in drafts in the last 10 years. They analyzed and of course, we don't really know for sure because these players only have a half a season. But for what we can tell, he's completely wrong on that. And that's because the highest UConn player went number 6, Aaliyah Edwards. No, there was no UConn players in the top 5. And he's still upset about Caitlin Clark. He made a mistake. He should have gone with Paige and Caitlin. He should have had that backcourt duo, and they would have won some championships. He hasn't won any championships in a while, although this year they may. I think they got the number 1 recruit, and they also got Paige Beckers coming back. And I like Paige Becker. She's a great player. I like Juju Watson. She's a great player, but she's not as good as her fans think she is. She has more turnovers than assists, and her shooting percentage is pretty low. But she's a great player, and she's a great athlete. She's a better athlete than the 2 other guards I just mentioned, Caitlin Clark and Paige Beckers. So we'll see what happens. Gino probably benched her and used Paige. I don't know. I think she would have reined her in. She wouldn't have scored as many points. But you can't bench a player that passes that well and shoots that well. You just can't. And then Paige might not have got injured because her whole life would have been different. So who knows? Well, the one happened off season. One injury happened in season. One happened off season. Yeah. I don't know. I think he made a mistake. I would have taken both of them if. So, but Paige was the number 1 recruit, and Caitlin was only number 4. Yeah, I saw Paige's speech. It was virtual signaling. Is that the right word? Virtual signaling that she did. What about what? Let's see. Yeah, Paige Becker. Yeah, I heard it at SB Awards. I thought it was a little bit much. I was like, look at how great a person I am by saying all these things great about the black players not getting enough attention. Overly woke. Woke's okay. Overly woke. If you look up the definition of woke, it got distorted, but woke's okay. Woke's just being aware of some things that are unfair in society. That's all. But when they go too far with it, I call it the far left all the time because they go too far. They go too PC on me too. Like I got to worry about every word I say now. Like, and when I'm recording or like I'm live right now, it's like I got to watch everything I say. You got to watch everything you say. It's a shame. And as a white male, it's actually harder because you can be sexist, you can be racist, and I'm straight, so I could be anti-gay in any of my comments. So you can't even joke about things like that anymore. So took the fun out of comedy. I mean, it's meant to be funny. Things are meant to be funny. Paige scored U9 mostly from Caitlin. Yeah, I know. Excuse me, wife. I know that Paige and Caitlin play together. And Caitlin was on 3 teams, got 3 gold medals, so she does have international experience. And I know she was on the leading scorer on at least one team. She got cut from one team too. When she was like 15 or 16, she didn't make a team. I don't know if Paige made every team she tried out for or not. But yeah, Cameron Brink, you see Cameron Brink's quotes and comments? Those were like Paige's. They were overly woke too. And then she got injured, unfortunately for her. I felt bad for her. It wasn't even she was just driving to the basket and her knee came out, her ACL. That was weird. She's very skinny, so let's see. Let's see. I like Kobe kids. Okay. All right, so I should have a poll before the Olympics starts for you guys. Like, who's the hottest female Olympian? All right, we could do it for the same thing for the guys, but our audience is 80% male, which is not unusual for YouTube sports channels, and we're also 80% over the age of 45. Like, a lot of Caitlin Clark fans are over the age of 45, apparently. Yeah, so all right, we'll do 2 polls, one for the hottest male Olympian and one for the hottest female Olympian. So we'll do 2 polls. I'll have to come up with I know there's a way to do a poll. I have that on my website. I did a poll like who's going to win the NBA championship. I had that under the live section. I just took it down, but I just had it up there to experiment because I'm new at this. But I think I can do a poll on these live things. I don't know how to do them, but I'll figure it out by next show. And maybe I'll come up with a poll next time. I meant to do that today and I forgot about it. I thought about it earlier. Let me just see if there's something on here. Let me see. Add it. Would you plus engage with your audience? I don't know what that means. What's a plus sign mean? Start a Q&A. Oh, start a poll. All right. Here you go. I can start a poll. I just hit the plus sign. How does Mark know we are 80% make? It's an alien, especially. What? I don't understand the question. How does Mark know we are 80% make? He's an alien, especially with that. I'm not an alien. Who said that? Reggie Miller looks like an alien. Oh, no, looks like an alien. It's Adam Silver, the WNBA commissioner. He looks like an alien. All right, so start a poll. All right, I'll do a simple poll just to check out. All right, we'll start poll. Hang on. Oops. I didn't write it down yet. Wait a minute. I got to put the question in here yet. Wait. Hang on. I'm still figuring it out. End poll. All right, wait, let me do this again. Start a poll. Yes. I was going to say, are they going to make the playoffs? But I thought I had to type it in. But all right, so here's the poll. You can answer. Is it working? Let me know. Are the Indiana Fever going to make the playoffs? That's the poll. All right. So I don't know. So I got a poll going. Aren't I supposed to type in the question somewhere? It's not giving me a chance. I'll do it. Let's see. No. All right. I'll figure it out. Anyways, that's my poll question for today. I can start a Q&A if you want. Answer your questions live. I'm already doing that. Okay. All right. Close. All right. I'll experiment on that. I'll come up with a poll. How does Mark know we are 80% make? He's an alien. I don't know what you mean by 80% make. 80% male. Oh, because they give me the analytics on the YouTube channel. So they break it down by when you subscribe, your personal information. I don't know that everybody watches my videos because I get 10,000 views a day and I only have 1,600 subscribers. So obviously there's a lot of viewers that aren't subscribers. That's normal for any channel. So, but when you join, your personal information is with Google. And so your information, like your date of birth is on there, your sex is on there. And so when you join as a subscriber, our subscribers are 80% over the age of 45 and 80% male. That's how I found out. So it hasn't changed much. I'm encouraging under 45 and females, but on sports channels, you never get a large percentage of females. Yankee Blue is female, last I checked. So she don't care about males. You don't care about aliens. Yankee Blue, you don't care about aliens or next poll? Oh, okay. Oh, next poll? All right. All right. Will the Yankees win the World Series? Poll number 2. And let's start a new poll. Will the Yankees win the World Series? That's my poll. All right. All right. Man, I had a feeling Yankee Blue was going to like that question. All right. You going to take the field or are you going to take the Yankees? That's the question. Yankees going to win the World Series. All right. Let me see. Anyone else want to vote before I come up with a new poll? The Yankees going to win the World Series. All right. New poll. Is Kansas City going to three-peat? Start a new poll. Hang on. Whoops. I got to end that other poll, I think. Hang on a second. I'm new at this. All right. Poll complete. All right. Start a poll. All right. Will Kansas City repeat for a three-peat? All right. I'm going to vote yes. Am I allowed to vote? I think I am. All right. Anyways, Kansas City three-peat. I'll have to work on this. Okay. Mr. Terrible, go back to Yankees. He's on Caitlin 24/7. We're going to be busy in the fall because I love football. So Caitlin plays till early October. They make the playoffs to mid-October. So from late August to what? That's going to be busy for a month and a half. We're going to have to do extra videos. So we'll do that. But college football starts in the last week of August, and the pros start the Sunday after Labor Day. I don't know the exact date. The Olympics are coming up. What was the date on the Olympics? I'll look that up again. It was July. It was late July. What was it? Hang on. Let me look up the date for the Olympics. How far away are we for the Olympics? I got them written down here, important dates. Football season, college football season starts August 24th. NFL starts September 7th. End of WNBA regular season is September 19th. Oh, really? The playoffs start September 22nd? Oh, I thought it was last year, October. All right. Summer Olympics are July 26th to August 11th. NBA season starts October 24th. College basketball starts November 6th. So that's what we got coming up. So July 26th. So like I said, we're going to do that. When I was younger, I never liked the opening and closing ceremonies because I just like the events, but they've gotten better. They were able to do things better, so they're kind of exciting. And so they're kind of good. Put a lot into it. I will go back to the Yankees again. Oh my God, you're upset about what? That he'll go back to him after Caitlin Clark's over. We have one anti-Caitlin Clark person. Women just don't get it. I don't watch her because of her looks. If it was Kelsey Plum, I would watch her for her looks. I just think she's very exciting. So that's me. You know, with the NBA season, the regular season, I lost interest in the NBA regular season. I love the playoffs. Don't get me wrong. I watched a lot of the playoffs, but the NBA season's so long. They don't play defense. The stars sit too often. They just don't seem intense. The games just don't seem intense enough. The WNBA plays more intense than the NBA for regular season. Yeah, yeah, the WNBA is not exciting. It's just Caitlin Clark, really, because they play bully ball. You know, it's like prison ball, and that's not exciting. And they can't jump, so that's a problem. They can't make layups. They can make 3-point shots, but they don't have any post moves. Some of them have middle games, but they're very awkward around the basket, which is very strange. I watched more WNBA in the past month than NBA in 15 years. Oh. Top Gun, Mr. Terrible, I feel for you. Well, I don't know. Baseball is a boring sport to me, so that's one reason I don't cover it in the channel. But I don't follow close enough to talk, intelligently about it. So I don't want to do that. People want to. If you're going to talk about a sport, you better know what you're talking about. And I don't know anything about hockey. I don't watch hockey much. I watched the Game 7. I don't know. Did you guys watch Game 7 of the hockey? That was an exciting game. 2-1. I mean, one goal game. How much more exciting can you get? A Game 7, 1-goal game. The best player in hockey trying to get his first Stanley Cup. It was 3-0, and then it was 3-3. That was a great game. I watched that. I think it was last Monday, right? Yeah, because I went on 7-8, and then I stopped at 8 because I wanted to go watch the hockey game. It didn't start till almost 8:30, but yes, I love NFL and college football. And college football, like I told you, I was born in 59, so college football used to be, even though you followed it when you were younger, it was boring compared to it is now. It was all running. The quarterbacks just weren't that good. And the pro quarterbacks were pretty good at the time. Now the pro quarterbacks are great at throwing the ball, and the college quarterbacks were just like so at throwing it. So they ran all the time. But now their quarterbacks are excellent in college football, and they throw a lot. So it's a nice mix. And there's more scoring than there used to be. What do I think about Bronny getting drafted? Okay, Nepo baby is what I would say. I put that in the video, right? Who knows how good he is, because he did have that heart ailment, but he wasn't even starting, I think, before he had the heart ailment. So, I mean, he wasn't even starting for USC. The people that make it in the WNBA for the first year are like stars from game one. They're not starters. They're stars from game one. So there's no way he would have been on a team right now. He seems like a good athlete, and he's supposed to be a good defender. And I saw highlights. He's supposed to be a good passer, but his scoring's not that good. So I don't know what his role is. He has to play with his dad. He's going to be 15th man on the team. He might be in the G League at first. He's going to play in the summer league, and then he's going to have to play himself in. I don't know. We'll see. He looks like a good athlete, so we'll see what happens. He doesn't have his dad's size. So I had a feeling that he was going to get drafted 55th. When I found out they had the 17th pick and the 55th pick, I said, no, they're picking him second round, and they did. So anyways, we'll see what happens. LeBron James is playing unbelievable for his age. He's the best 39-year-old ever. He was even better than Jordan at 39, but Jordan took 3 years off. So, but I don't know if he's on anything, but I think he just takes care of his body, and he's a great athlete. I said Simone Biles is probably the best athlete in the world, but you could argue LeBron James is the best athlete in the world, just physically strong, quick, fast, agile. I don't know. You can make a case for, I guess, a lot of players. Lionel Messi. He's the best athlete in a sport that's more competitive than other athletes. So there's more people trying to be best at that sport, and he's the best. So, but there's a lot of people. We'll see. Katie Ledecky is pretty dominant. Coco Gauff, she's getting good. She's number 2 in the world now. So we'll see what's going on. Receivers. Yeah, that's exciting. That's not Boards playing basketball. Yeah, Broads playing basketball. Yes, I agree. I mean, football is my favorite sport to watch. I love NFL football. I do. I watch. Usually, I watch at least 3 games a week, three to 5 games a week, depending if the matchups are any good. Because you got the 1 o'clock. If you're in the East Coast, I don't know if you guys are in the East Coast, so you get the 1 o'clock game, you get the 4:25 game, you got Sunday Night Football, you got Monday night, and you got Thursday night. So even if you don't have the NFL pass, you got 5 possible games you can watch a week, and they usually have the better matchups playing. So the better teams, the more exciting players. Yeah, the receivers have gotten so good at catching the ball and so athletic. Football becomes more exciting every year. The running backs were always exciting, but the receivers are more exciting than they used to be. They're just better athletes. They make great grabs, and it's exciting to watch. I agree. That was a good point, Yankee. Yankee go blue. Because like I said, I'm telling you that I can remember 65. Gale Sayers was super exciting to watch, but the receivers weren't that exciting. I don't know why the running backs were ahead of the receivers, but they were. Paul Warfield and Charlie Taylor were exciting in the 60s and 70s, but not as exciting as they are now. I want a Mark and Rob league. If I could win the lottery, when that lottery gets really high and it gets up to like $1 billion, if I win it, I get like $500 million, right? So I would start my own league, and I wouldn't allow any of these women in my league other than Caitlin Clark. And then anyone that comes out, I would just take all the players coming out of college and offer them more money and start my own league. And I said, no, you had your chance. You want to play prison ball. So I don't want to see prison ball. And guess what? You're going to have to do work out with weights and be able to jump higher, so it's more exciting for us to watch. And you got to make the layups, or we're not going to watch. Is that fair? No fantasy football. Can't afford that. I never played fantasy football. It's just like, it seems too intense. Like I'd have to do it, put too many hours into it. The phones are on. I gave the number out. It's Yankee Go Blue. It's 215. I said the number twice, and I also printed the number. I don't know if I'm supposed to pin it. I guess I should pin it. Is there a way to pin it? Let's see. Wait, I'll put the number up. The phones are on. Nobody wanted to call. There's probably a way to pin this, right? I don't know. Here's the number. I know how to pin a comment. I'm new at this. It's like our 4th live show, so I've never done it before. All right. Well, we have a caller. What do you have to say, Yankee Go Blue? Besides, you think
Yankee Go Blue?
Yeah. I heard Yankee Go Blue that you've been caller of the week several times, and you won mugs from talk shows. That you're so good at calling in. The pressure's on.
I was like all over Philly, but
okay.
I don't watch female sports. I don't want to see it.
You don't want to see female sports?
Who it is.
What about Simone
That's
Biles?
Not exciting to me.
What about Simone Biles?
Oh well, yeah, gymnastics and stuff. Like
okay.
The Olympics, that's different.
All right. What about tennis? Coco Gauff and Serena Williams and stuff like that.
Yes, I have watched tennis.
All right. Okay. All right. And volleyball?
That's individual sports.
What about volleyball and skate? Okay, individual sports.
That's cool as the Olympics. I'm not a big fan of it.
All right. Doesn't watch.
But the things that men do, women can't. You won't see, a woman run out of her mind diving to catch a baseball.
No, I played ultimate frisbee for 40 years. I can tell you that when the men dive, like you dive sometimes when the throw's not there to you and you got to catch it. When the men dive, they dive like real athletes. They dive, and the women do a half a dive. They don't really lay out.
Yeah, they do, flat. But it's not the same.
I know.
They're not catching a ball hit at that rate of speed.
Right.
They can't. Like I said, if LeBron played in the WNBA, he would score 295 points a game. Seriously.
Oh yeah.
It's not the same. And when they want to say even your girl is more, no, she's not. She's not.
She is exciting.
Okay.
She is. She
No.
is. I swear to God.
With
she
all
is.
the male athletes,
Not necessarily her athletic
professional
skills
sports,
so much
no,
as how
I don't
she
think
plays.
so. Don't
Obviously,
even compare it to the men.
No, athletically, it doesn't compare to men, but her 3-point shooting does.
I don't care about that.
I know, but
I don't care about that. Listen,
there's something about being able to drop it in from 23 to all the way to 35
well, you
feet.
stand on, shoot like 95 3-pointers every day.
No, I
You're
understand.
be good at it.
But
she put in the work, but it's a female sport, and I have no interest in whatsoever.
I understand, but Steph Curry, people find Steph Curry exciting for his 3-point shooting. So
it's not as exciting as MLB or NFL or.
No, I understand
NHL,
that, but her 3-point shooting is just as exciting as Steph Curry's 3-point shooting. She has a very quick release and she has very good form. So I'll say that. So it's great.
And in softball, I don't like the underhand pitching.
Women's. Yeah, well, they don't.
Yeah, I don't
the softball is like very low scoring if they got a really strong pitcher. Like sometimes they get like no hitters and stuff, right? Because it's hard to hit.
No hitters are boring.
Yeah, I like defense, but I like some scoring too. That's why I don't follow soccer. I don't want to see a 1-1 game, and I don't want to see like a game decided by penalty kicks because there was only 2 scores. What's the point? It's not even soccer anymore. It's not real soccer when it's a penalty kick.
Well, you guys should change the name of the show to the Caitlin Clark Show.
Oh, that's a new poll. Should we? A new poll. End the poll. Should we
Have a good evening, fellas. I have to go to work early in the morning.
Okay, thank you for calling in, Yankee Go Blue. Good luck with your Yankees. All right. Great voice. Yes, she does have a great voice. She's a friend of mine, by the way. So, anyways, she used to follow sports more closely than she does now. She still follows her Yankees, but yeah, I'll tell her that you liked her voice. All right, it's 9:00. So, one last chance if you want to make a donation to our new studio. There's a dollar sign down in the right-hand corner. Anyways, I'll do a live show next week. I'll talk to Rob and see if he wants to do 2 hours and do like either 6 to 8 or 7 to 9. It'll be posted on the website, obviously, and you can figure that out. But I'll try to do 2 hours next week since we did that, since people seem to enjoy it. There's a dollar sign. I don't know. There's a dollar sign in the lower right-hand corner. There's a box around it. I don't know how to do it. I've never done it myself with this dollar sign. It's called Super Chat or something like that. You see in the lower right-hand corner, it should be there. Underneath the screen, you go across, not right where the screen would describe, but underneath it. I'll describe it. Let me just see when I go on the channel here. Yeah, so next to where you could do the thumb. It should have a thing there. Why isn't that live? Yeah. I know it's on. You can do it on the videos too. On the videos, you can see the dollar sign. There it is. Thank you, Yankee Go Blue. All right, 1999. Yeah, I don't know how. This is new to me. Like I just got those instigated yesterday or today. I could have had them up for a week ago. I didn't even know how to put them in the machine. I thought I had to do something special for it. But anyways, on the videos, when you go watch the videos, not on the screen, but below the screen, where you can do like and stuff, to the right, there should be a square with a dollar sign on it. And that's how you can do a video. You can do a donation to the thing, because we don't want to make a lot of money on the commercials. They take 45% of it from us. So it's like pennies. It's like pennies on that. You can see the dollar sign next to the chat thing on here. And all our videos have the same thing. So if you don't do it here, you can, anytime you watch a video, if you like the video, you can donate to that. All right. So leave me some messages and let me know if you wanted 6 to 8 next week or 7 to 9. I'll talk to Rob and see which 2 hours are better for him. He's married, so he's got to, eat dinner with his wife. So we'll see what happens, and we'll do that. All right. So until next time. All right. Thank you, Mr. Terrible, about us wanting to grow. Yeah, we're growing. There's no question. Since May 28th, we've exploded to a certain extent. In fact, only 10 channels. Only 10% of channels actually get monetized, and we got monetized in like 7 weeks. So it was really fast. It was because of the Caitlin Clark support, I think. But still, it's because people liked our videos. And so we're getting about 75 new subscribers a day. So we're trying to get up to 2,000. So if you share with your family and friends the videos and our channel so we can grow. If you're especially Caitlin Clark fans, because we're forced to do those videos all the time until the Olympics and football season start. Anyways, all right. So have a good night. I'm going to end this if that's okay with you. And thanks for joining us. And hopefully next week we'll have even more people and anybody can call in if they want. All right. Take care.